Cyril Everett Castor was living in the town of Woodstock in 1969. He has played with some, or actually probably most, of the artists that any one of you can think about. He's been there and done that. And he'll share a story about an interesting happening in the town of Woodstock. His original song that he's going to do for us tonight, The Forest, became a local anthem and a favorite of recording artist Stevie Wonder.
Since the early 1900s, the small town of Woodstock, New York was known for informal music concerts, some outdoors, some in rustic buildings. Situated 90 miles north of New York City, it was a great place for people to visit in the summer, see some small art galleries or hear music in an intimate setting, and most of all enjoy the mountains and the valley and its beautiful streams and reservoirs. Painters, sculptors, musicians, and writers were among the original settlers in the early 20th century. In the early 60s came Albert Grossman and some of his clients and their friends such as Bob Dylan, Todd Rundgren, Bonnie Raitt, Van Morrison, Jesse Winchester, and the band. It was their idyllic home. They sometimes showed their faces in local restaurants or music venues, but mostly remained private. As residents, they were on an equal basis with waiters, bakers, carpenters, unknown artists, and such. That was then. The summer of 1968 was a time of mysterious coalescing forces. The lovely pastoral field surrounded by dense woods was on thin soil, where bedrock was exposed here and there. Chamomile and wild strawberry flowers bloomed in random patches, and some old farm buildings completed a postcard-perfect setting. Just above the surface, however, there stirred an exciting new energy. The stage was an improvement over last year's mini-festival. Still a simple platform a foot or so off the ground facing 19 acres of meadow, dotted with campfires and blankets and folding chairs. It was fitted out with a decent homemade sound system. Homemade by me. Evening was approaching. Several performers, some well-known, some not so much, but all really engaging and sincere, had played their hearts out. Bob Fast, the first public radio DJ and president of WBAI New York, took the stage to introduce the closing act, the great Richie Havens. Applause rolled in across the field to the stage as the sky became a luminous cobalt blue. As Bob continued his comments, Richie's warm, pulsating guitar filled the air with beauty. I noticed some audience members looking up at the sky curiously. I followed their gaze, and there, high up above the stage, was a silver object, motionless and shining. It was round, but no other characteristics were visible. I tried to think of the possible explanations, but the stillness of the thing and its sudden appearance were confusing. I walked up to the stage and beckoned for Bob Fast to look up. "Oh wow, everyone look up in the sky over the stage," Bob said calmly. "I'm not sure what we're seeing up there. Maybe it's a weather balloon, but why is it so still?" Massive murmuring from the field. A few minutes went by while Richie's guitar kept a gentle time-keeping soundtrack to the event. Finally, Bob spoke again. "You feel friendly, but maybe you are just a balloon trapped in an air current. If you are here to listen to Richie Havens play, please give us a sign." The object immediately made two perfect circles in the sky, stopped, made another one, and then returned to its former stillness. Wows and oh my gods broke out across the field, and then a wave of applause. "In that case, play on, Mr. Havens." The silver thing remained still for over an hour, while Richie Havens' rich voice harmonized the thoughts and feelings of all present. As the last note of Richie's song trailed off, the silver thing vanished with breathtaking speed and was gone. It was like, whoosh, and it was gone. The next year was 1969, and 21 concerts were scheduled for the Old Sound Festival field. I joined with Bob Fast and 3 other investors to carry on the tradition. I was the on-site producer. I lived in a converted chicken house on the grounds. Jay Unger and Charlie Chin, who were then called Cat Mother and the All Night Newsboys, lived in the farmhouse out near the road. It rained every single Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for the whole 7 weeks of scheduled shows. My personal funds were dwindling, but fortunately Janis Joplin sent someone over to make me an offer. She was rehearsing a large band in a big house 100 yards away, and she would pay me $250 per rehearsal session to play trumpet with them. That band never performed or recorded, but the money helped, and I dearly loved Janis. One weekend later that summer, another festival, 3 days only, was held using the Woodstock name. You may have heard of it. Thank you. This song I wrote while sitting on the banks of a little abandoned reservoir outside of the town of Woodstock and seeing the cycle of life take place. Trees falling down, rotting away, mushrooms growing out of the trees, and new trees starting up. And so it's called The Forest, and the chorus is "We are not here, we are everywhere" 3 times, and then "We are now, we are always, we are singing" twice. So it's written from the point of view of the trees, because no tree is actually a single soul. All the trees are connected, their roots are in the ground, and the water connects all the earth of the earth. And so the trees have a joint consciousness that I wasn't smoking anything either. The forest.
And they're hidden from your eyes. You see them with your body when you wear his own disguise. The deadwood tells a story as it's lost its place in time. There's nothing new and nothing old and nothing left behind. Singing, we are not here, we are everywhere. We are not here, we are everywhere. We are not here, we are everywhere. We are now, we are always, we are singing. We are now, we are always, we are singing. Give up the struggle, whistled by the Phantom crew. If you can just remember that they worked for only you. They were born out of your fear, and your fear is all they know. They are guardians of a world that is the place you have to go. Singing, we are not here, we are everywhere. We are not here, we are everywhere. We are not here, we are everywhere. We are now, we are always. Spain, they're brothers and sisters, but I can't describe the way that it makes you such a stranger to the tapes you used to play. Cross the desert, walk the valley, you can do it in a flash. When you're floating free, you don't need a place to crash. Singing, we are not here, we are everywhere. We are not here, we are everywhere. We are not here, we are everywhere. We are not